So I've been taking a bit of a journey back, and it's funny because I did this right on time with the announcement, or I guess the first showing, because it was announced like maybe a year ago that Sonic would be getting a movie in 2019. But with the first showcase of this poster or posters or whatever the case may be, I was on a retrospective look at what makes Sonic so cool, what I like so much about Sonic. Sonic's good, Sonic's bad. There's a lot of bad. What makes the character so cool? Like, what has made the character survive this long, and then this pops up, and I obviously I think everyone, and I feel like a lot of people miss the idea that they're a dime a dozen when it comes to Sonic. It's everyone agrees this looks like ass. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, well, it doesn't look so bad. I suppose it could work in some sense. Even though I might get into that later, how I think it looks, in my opinion, how I think it could work. I don't know. But what I want to say is, there's no guarantee of anything. Like, there's no guarantee that it's gonna be bad. I get that it's a Sonic product in modern times, and as such, there's like an unspoken rule that it's gonna be bad or whatever the fuck. But I do think that there is the possibility that whoever is making the movie could treat Sonic better than Sega has been treating Sonic over the past, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, past decade? Yeah, but over the past decade. Which is really interesting because, I wanted to say in the poster, he's in this really weird position, right? He's kneeling over. He looks like Usain Bolt when he's getting ready to run, which actually makes perfect sense now that I say that out loud. But his head is perfectly angled in the position of his logo, and his ears are pointed. The actual outline of his head looks like the Sonic Team logo, and by proxy the Sonic logo for himself. You are familiar with his logo if you're familiar with Mario and Sonic, or the Sonic Team logo in and of itself, or just Sonic's fucking head in general. So with that being said, I do think that they have paid attention somewhat to the very frame, the very core of the character, and I'm gonna get to how it looks here in a little bit, but overall, so far, I think they are sort of paying attention. Like, I think they're paying attention. So as far as the look, and I just want to get this out of the way, obviously I think it looks ugly, even though we haven't really seen anything. I've seen some real renditions of him with sort of a realistic looking hedgehog face, which is pretty jarring, but I can see that if they do that right, I feel like there could be a certain charm to it. Would I have rather them literally pick him up out of Sonic Adventure and drop him into the real world? Of course I would have. Would I rather them drop him, to take him from Sonic Unleashed and just drop him into the real world? Of course I would have. But there has to be, personally, I think, as a fan, of course that's what I would want. But in order to translate him to the real world, I'm not even going to get into that explanation. I hit the mic, I'm sorry guys. I'm not even going to get into that explanation, because you know what it is. You know what it is. The Pokemon trailer dropped, and no one seems to have a problem with that. So you guys already understand he has to be translated into the real world somehow. There's no way to translate Sonic into the real world without making him look dumb as shit. Like, honestly, there's no way. You can't just add fur to that CG model created specifically for video games and video game physics and video game plots and video game stories, video game narratives, and just drop it into the real world and have people say, oh yeah, that's perfectly fine. Why would they do that? Why wouldn't they go for the creative route? Why wouldn't they try to reimagine Sonic in a realistic context? Why wouldn't they do that? I would do that. But, whatever the case may be, people don't like his thighs, people don't like the muscle, people don't like, and I get it, but I see what they were going for with that. At least I can see what they were going for with that. And you guys have to understand, Sega has taken Sonic in a direction they've reimagined Sonic into certain situations, into certain scenarios where it's just like, why? And I think people are missing the point that Sega themselves don't give a damn about Sonic. Like it's pretty apparent. Sonic Forces, Sonic Lost World, Sonic Boom, that stupid TV show. Where can we go but up? I seriously don't get. The lack of faith disturbs me. It disturbs me deeply. And it's really funny because I'm preaching more of a neutral point, but I feel like I have to defend it in a sense in order to preach that neutral point. I do think, and more so with that, I think I think Jim Carrey is a good cast for Dr. Eggman. Eggman does not fit inside a real world. You just see what they did in Sonic 06. They made him into a real looking person. But you have to make Eggman into this comically, I guess you could say obtuse, for lack of a better word, villain. He has to be exaggerated. He's the representation of industrialism. He has to be exaggerated. Who else could be that but Jim Carrey? I wouldn't even chose Jim Carrey. Who else could be that? He has to be the personification of industrialization, because that's what he is. In Sonic Adventure, they didn't bother making him look real because that's not the point. He's Dr. Eggman. He is the Eggman, and he has the mask. What am I doing? I'm defending this damn movie, and it's pretty funny because if you know me, or if you ask any of my friends, I criticize. I criticize the hell out of everything. I was just triggering my friends. I was criticizing Spider-Man PS4. I was criticizing Spider-Man Homecoming. I criticize what people usually view as the best, because when it was stuff like that, it's usually created entirely for people to be for it to be praised by people. I'm not going to get into that entire argument during this video, but I do think that when you have something like Spider-Man, this is probably why I give Spider-Man so much flack. When you have someone like Spider-Man, if you slap Spider-Man's name on something, it's going to get praised, period. And that's just the end of that. So that's probably why I give Spider-Man so much flack, and as far as how he's represented in media, because people will be lazy wherever they can be lazy. It's Spider-Man. You're not going to lose any money on the name. So that being said, I think I'm going to somewhat partially defend it and also be cautiously optimistic. I know Sonic fans hate that word, but genuinely it is a viable word for this. I'm not siding with completely hating it. I'm not siding with Sega missing the point. I'm not siding with these people. I know popular people who've said, they missed the point of the entire character of Sonic, blah, blah, blah. This has to be a joke. But I honestly, I don't see where they went wrong. And a lot of people can't accept that what a personal opinion is. They just have to, well, no, it's objectively wrong. But, personally, I don't see it. Now, as far as the synopsis goes, it's pretty simple. And I actually think they're taking some notes from the framework of Sonic Adventure. So, the movie takes place in San Francisco. And I know San Francisco is a pretty generic place. I'd say Los Angeles. Like, if they really wanted to just go super generic, they could have just done Los Angeles or New York. So I do think San Francisco is relatively popular, but I don't think it is I don't think it's going to beat New York, or I don't think it's going to beat Los Angeles. Like, if you wanted to give Sonic a place where he could, stop Dr. Eggman, any generic city could have been it. But in the plot synopsis, they strictly highlight San Francisco. And if you guys don't know, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do know, but just bear with me if you don't know, Sonic Team back in the 90s, the people who developed Sonic Adventure 2 were basically housed in San Francisco. And that's the city you escape from. City Escape, rolling around at the speed of sound. That was based on San Francisco. They were so inspired by the environment that they based City Escape on San Francisco. That's why there's a massive long road that you run down and you skate down, and that's why it's so faithful. Or if you're playing it, you ever say, this looks vaguely familiar, it's basically San Francisco. The city that you escape from, that's San Francisco. So, with that being said, I don't think it guarantees. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying this guarantees that the Sonic movie will be good. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they are paying attention to, because San Francisco, you could argue San Francisco is a very important city. It's a very iconic city in the realm of Sonic game development, especially Sonic Adventure, which gets crazy praise from Sonic fans. So I do think that to an extent they are paying attention to the character. They're paying attention to the series. They're paying some level of attention to what makes Sonic Sonic. I don't agree with people who are just saying, oh no, it looks like ass and it's gonna be ass, guaranteed 100%, because everything about this just makes me believe they're probably gonna treat Sonic better than Sega has been treating Sonic for the past decade in this movie. And that's just my opinion. I don't know if you guys, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. And as far as the story goes, him having a buddy cop, him having it basically being like a road trip. I don't know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be like a buddy cop movie. It's gonna be them thwarting Dr. Eggman, doing it by the book or whatever. And Sonic is being characterized as a juvenile delinquent. Now, all of this stuff sounds very, it sounds very ambiguous. Now, the juvenile delinquent thing, Sonic has always been on the edge. I guess you could say he's always been edgy. He's never followed the rules per se. Like he's a freedom fighter. He's more of a vigilante. There it is. He's more of a vigilante than like a juvenile. I guess those two could be related though. He's more of like a vigilante or a freedom fighter. So I don't know if they're contextualizing him in the modern city establishment society, whatever the case may be. But now that I think about it, I do like the characterization of Sonic as a juvenile delinquent, because that's basically what he is. He's a blue hedgehog that runs fast. He doesn't like following the law. That's the end of it. But he does good things at the end of the day, so it doesn't matter. He's Sonic. He runs. That's why I don't get the argument that Sonic's around humans. Sonic doesn't belong around humans. Sonic has always been around humans. Okay, first and foremost, Sonic's first love interest that wasn't Amy the Hedgehog was a human. I forget her name, but she was blonde. She had a red dress, and she was based on Madonna. She had a red dress, blonde hair, red lipstick. Sonic's first love interest was going to be human. Fast forwarded to Sonic 06, and he literally had a love interest that was human, which I would argue was kind of based on her because she had the short hair. Whatever. It was weird, but that is, Sonic has been around humans before. Sonic and the Black Knight, he had sort of an anime looking, she was still relatively human. Sonic Unleashed, he was around a lot of humans. Sonic Adventure, part of the narrative was humans. Should Shadow obliterate humans or should he protect humans? It's humans. A lot of the time, Sonic, and that's what makes 3D Mario different from 3D Sonic in a lot of cases. This is why all of those jokes about Super Mario Odyssey being Sonic Adventure 3 are so relevant, because the difference is Sonic is not afraid to be contextualized in the real world. He's never been afraid of being contextualized in the real world. So, with that being said, Sonic having a human companion is nothing new. At least, the lady from the Black Knight, whoever, all the other humans Sonic has been around, including Dr. Eggman. Like, Sonic has always been contextualized in the human world, around humans. It's Sonic. He's been around humans before. So, with that being said, I think at the end, and this is one of the coolest parts, and you can say what you want about Sonic 06, you can say what you want about Shadow the Hedgehog. I think they get something, and Sonic Adventure, of course, Sonic Adventure 1. I think they get something right about Sonic's character. I think at the end of the movie, to sort of theorize on, I think at the end of the movie, Sonic will inevitably leave. I think that's one of the coolest parts of Sonic character. At the end of Sonic 06, he had to leave Elise. He had to leave Light Gaia, Chip, or if you guys ever beat the game, he had to leave Chip. He had to leave that city. He had to leave the Lost World. He had to leave. Sonic is more. portrayed as more of like a mythological figure, and I think they hit on that really well in Sonic and the Black Knight. He's like the blue wind. He's the blue blur. He's like a legendary figure that shows up, save the day, and then he's gone. He's like this endless portal of just optimism and freedom, and I really like that aspect about Sonic. I think personally I would like for them to hit on that aspect of his character in the movie. If my hunch is right and they have been paying attention to the framework of Sonic Adventure and Sonic as a whole and what he means, I think they're going to hit on it. Sonic's going to have to leave his cop friend after he beats Dr. Eggman, because Dr. Eggman's going to leave. Dr. Eggman is the yin to Sonic's yang. Sonic is freedom and nature, and because that's what Sonic is. He's just a big blue hippie, and Eggman's just industrialization. God help me. But yeah, so wherever Eggman goes, Sonic has to follow, sort of, kind of. And wherever the Chaos Emeralds go, Sonic has to kind of... it's like they're gravitated towards each other because the Chaos Emeralds are a MacGuffin item, which drives the plot forward in a lot of cases with Sonic. But you guys know what I mean. Sonic is this... He's just this mythological figure. So I don't want Sonic... Sonic doesn't plant roots. Sonic isn't... Well, he's like the opposite of Mario. Mario started in the Mushroom Kingdom. He was going to end up in the Mushroom Kingdom. Sonic jumps everywhere. Planet to planet, city to city, galaxy to galaxy, world to world. Sonic is just... And I think that's what... And I don't know. I don't think I would be defending this as hard as I am if I hadn't just played a bunch of 3D Sonic. If I hadn't just reconnected with what I think makes modern Sonic so cool. And I do think Sonic as a character, and there is an argument that, you know, the games are bad. Why wouldn't the movie be bad? Because I don't think movies are more like a visual medium. Games are more of like an interactive medium, and they're way easier to mess up. Movies, you just tell a story, that's the end of that. And a lot of the times when I look at, and that's what makes me, that's probably why I kind of sort of defend Sonic 06, because I looked at the movie. I never played the game and experienced it through Sonic, or I never experienced it as the piece of trash it probably was. But yeah, with that being said, I have some level of faith in this movie. I don't think what Sega does is pretty irrelevant. Sega themselves haven't treated Sonic like shit for ages, and I don't really get why we can't give these guys a chance. We gave Big Red Button a chance, and they gave us Sonic Boom. So can we just please give these guys a chance? Yes, I know Sonic is ugly as fuck. Muscly Hedgehog is really David the Hasselhog. It's like David the Hasselhog is real. But I do think we can give these guys a chance. They seem to have paid attention to what makes Sonic Sonic. In my opinion, I've noticed these correlations. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a goofy loser who's just in love with what Sonic used to be and is just blinded by optimism that this won't just be a pandering movie for kids to sell toys. But with that being said, guys, I will see you all later. Peace.